Hello and welcome to the Single Today podcast. This is a project dedicated to supplementing my very first book, Single Today. And this is episode 16, and it is called Would You Like a Bookmark? Would you like a bookmark? And that is not some metaphor or deep theological concept. It is just a question. I have these official Single Today bookmarks, and I would like to know if you would like one. Now, before I get into what is on these bookmarks, let's first get this out of the way. I mean it when I say, would you like a bookmark? Because I would love to send you one. And so all you have to do is go to ryanwekenman.com/connect. And there you can join the mailing list. I'll send you an email. And all you have to do is let me know a good mailing address, and I will get one of these in the mail and send it your way. So if you would like a bookmark, I would love to send it to you. Now, here's the story behind these bookmarks, because everybody loves a good bookmark, right? I am the world's slowest reader. I love to read, but I'm very slow. And so I love bookmarks because two reasons. One, if somebody lets me borrow one of their books, I don't want to earmark it all the way through, right? But then two, if I'm reading one of like a book that I own, I know that I'm probably going to share it with a friend at some point, and I get really insecure earmarking it, because most of my reading sessions are like 5 pages long, and so it ends up being like almost every other page is marked up, and then I feel like that person who I share it with is going to judge me, and so I like bookmarks for that reason. If you would like a bookmark, I'd like to send it to you. Now, this is no ordinary bookmark. This is special. Shout out, by the way, to my friend AJ. She designed these, came up with the idea, and designed them. And it is based off of chapter 2 of my book, Single Today. If you've been reading along, you know chapter 2 is the moment where I'm having a session with my spiritual director at the time, whose name is Bill. And Bill is talking to me about the importance of naming my emotions, giving it a name, giving it some space, and then letting it go. And so on these Single Today bookmarks is this reminder: give it a name, give it some space, and then let it go. But also in that chapter, I tell a story about a conversation with my friend Keith, who years ago we were talking about this inner journey that I was going on, and he said, hey, what I had to do in the beginning was I had to carry a list of emotions around with me, and then whenever I didn't know how I was feeling, I would pull out my list of emotions and I would go through it, and I would like, am I feeling disappointed? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling embarrassed? Right? And he would just go through it, and I laugh in the book about how like it was a light bulb moment for me, and I thought it was this like top secret thing, and it turns out you can just Google it and a whole bunch of lists appear. But AJ had the idea to take that list of emotions and put it on the back of your bookmark, so that while you are reading, or if you want to just carry this around with you wherever you go, you can stop at any point and scan and figure out how you are feeling. Now, this is one of the best exercises that you can learn to do. And in fact, if you do get one of these bookmarks, my challenge to you is going to be to set 3 alarms on your phone every day. And every time it goes off, hopefully it'll just be a random time during the day, you stop and you take a few breaths and you just check in with yourself and see how you are feeling. See if you can name how you are feeling. In fact, scan through this list and see if you can get, not because there's like the basic emotions, right? First level emotions. But what's really cool about this list is it goes from first level to second level to third level. So primary level is like fear, surprise, happiness, anger, disgust, sadness. But then underneath all of those words is a second tier. And so under fear, it's then rejected, it's insecure, it's anxious, it's scared, it's worried. And then underneath each of those words is 3 more words. And so underneath worried, it's tense, distracted, uneasy. And what we're trying to do with these lists is help you gain a more robust menu for naming how you are feeling. It's kind of like Inside Out, 2, Inside Out, a great movie. Inside Out 2 is coming out next week at the time I'm recording this. This is summer 2024. And I was watching the trailer, and it's a great trailer. It shows that the protagonist in the first movie was younger, and so it was just like, like fear and joy and kind of those first level emotions. But now in this movie, she's going to be a teenager, and so now there are all these extra new kind of like second tier, second level emotions being added to the movie, like embarrassment, and things like that, and envy. And so it's kind of the same way with this bookmark. This is like the top tier is Inside Out 1, and then the second tier is like Inside Out 2, and maybe the third tier will be the third one if they make it. I don't know, who knows? But it's cool because the longer you go and the more that you practice this exercise, the better you get at the more words that you have to answer questions like, hey, how are you right now? Like, do you ever get tired of only having like 4 responses to that question? Hey, how are you? Good, busy, stressed, or blessed. Like those are the 4 answers that we give, or whatever it is. Well, those are all fine. But what if you could learn how to put some more words onto that menu? I bet you would start to appreciate that question, hey, how are you, a lot more, because it actually gives you an opportunity to practice diving a little deeper into how you are actually feeling. It's kind of like a painter. When a painter is starting out, I would imagine they're primarily using 3 colors, right? They're just using the basics, and they're trying to create something. But as you continue to paint, you start adding more colors, and then you start messing with different shades. And the master painters, their palette is so much more diverse. They have so many different things that they can do, and those are the paintings that we just stare at for hours and hours as we're taking it all in. Right? Or musicians, same idea. Like beginners, they know like a basic 4-chord structure. They know the basic scales, or drummers know like the basic beats and the basic fills. But then as you go, the goal is you start to learn more. You start to add more. You start to change it up. You start to find your own style and your own structure and what really sounds good. And you start to find your own unique thing, right? We could do this all day. Chefs would be another good example. Like I am really good at making about 4 different dishes, and I'm great at it. But that's about all I have. Anything outside of those 4, like I'm on shaky ground, right? So I pretty much just stick to the basics when it comes to cooking meals. But of course, chefs know how to add in so many different ingredients and create so many different things. And that just takes time and practice. Well, the same thing is true with learning how to name our emotions. At first, it makes sense that we have about 4 words that we choose from. But if we practice over time, it's like our menu can get a whole lot longer. And so, very, very basic episode today. My question is, would you like a bookmark? Because I would love to send it to you. My challenge is to get a bookmark and to set a few alarms on your phone. And every time that the alarm goes off, to actually stop, check in with yourself, take a couple of really deep breaths, and ask yourself, hey, how do I feel right now? And see if emotion will pop up for you. And so, in fact, let's try that together. Wherever you are at right now, close your eyes if it's safe to close your eyes, but take a few really deep breaths. One more. And ask yourself the question, how do you feel? Like, do one of these first level words resonate with you? Fear, surprise, happiness, anger, disgust, sadness. And now take whatever one of those you felt. Like if it was sadness, okay, what's going on beneath the sadness? Is it guilt? Do you feel abandoned? Do you feel despair, depressed? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling bored? And then from there, sit with that for a second. And like if the word was lonely, let's dive even a layer deeper. Do you feel detached? Do you feel isolated? Do you feel like an outcast? Why are you feeling this loneliness that is then leading to this sadness? Now, that may not have applied to you because you may be like, I feel happy right now. I feel like $1,000,000. And that's great. There's a whole another category for that. The point is learning how to just practice naming how you feel with no judgment, by the way, right? Like none of these, your answer to that question is just for yourself, is learning to check in with you. But I feel like sometimes we feel like we're not allowed to give these things a name. And so we just let these feelings like sit there, right? And so as we did that exercise, what is the emotion that you are feeling? Give it a name. Naming things is powerful, right? That's why, like when a couple has a baby, the post that they put on social media, what are they doing with the post? They're announcing to the world the baby's name. Like it would be way less impactful if it was just a picture of the baby and it said, "Here's our kid," right? The power isn't saying here is blank, 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 and here's how much this kid weighs and all of that. That is so powerful because we go, oh, we're giving a name to this amazing new human being. And so give your emotions a name. And then after that, the next step is to give yourself a few minutes to feel that emotion. Man, especially if you were trained from a young age that it's wrong to feel your emotions. It's not. In fact, it's essential. It's so important to actually feel the things that you are feeling. And so give it a name, but then give it some space. Like let that emotion be the emotion. Let that sadness be that sadness. Let that loneliness be that loneliness. Let that feeling of feeling isolated or feeling like an outcast. Allow yourself to feel that way. Don't run away from the emotion. Run through the emotion by allowing yourself to feel it. Good, bad, or ugly. Let yourself feel it. Like I'm thinking right now about laughter. When somebody is trying really, really hard not to laugh, it's like the great outtakes that we love from whatever show. It's usually that one of the actors has to laugh, but they're trying to stay professional, and so they're trying to not laugh. But of course they're doing an awful job as an actor because instead of acting, they're just trying really hard not to laugh. Yeah, it's because that laughter wants to be felt, right? You have to just give it some space. You have to just laugh. You have to get it out. It's a beautiful thing, right? And I think we love watching those bloopers because we all know how that feels. And I think the invitation there is, hey, just laugh. Like take some time and enjoy that laughter. And so give it a name, but then give it some space. And the third step is just to simply let it go. Now, that doesn't mean you like suppress it. Doesn't mean you try to push it back down. It just means that you give it permission to go, to fly, like a cloud passing through in the sky. When you take some time to see it and to experience it, it becomes a lot easier just to let it keep going. Let it keep moving. And so give it a name, give it some space, and then let it go. It's a super simple exercise, but I'm telling you, it changes things. It really does, especially when it comes to processing things from the past, because oftentimes the reason we won't go back and actually process those things is because we're afraid or we don't feel like we have permission to feel the feelings that came up from that rejection or whatever it is, that embarrassment that you feel from that thing, whatever it is. If you just give it a name, you give it some space, you'll find it's a whole lot easier to actually let it go. And so with that, super simple exercise, but my question is, would you like a bookmark? Because naming your emotions, naming how you're actually feeling is a great way to mark the place that you are at today. And look at that. I did just kind of turn it into a metaphor. But these bookmarks are going to be really helpful. And so again, if you go to ryanweckman.com/connect and join the newsletter, and then you'll get an email from me. You just shoot me your email and say, hey, here's a good mailing address, and I will get it in the mail to you this week. Okay, there you go. Super simple. And yeah, I'm learning that sometimes the most simple ideas are the most effective. So wherever you find yourself on the Single Today journey, I want to encourage you, take 3 moments throughout the course of your day. We just did 1, so you only have 2 more to go. And stop, take a few deep breaths, and give it a name, and give it some space, and let it go. All right. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Single Today. Would you like a bookmark? We'll see you back here for episode 17.